All my life I've been that way. I was a multitasker before the word multitask had been invented.
I want to tell you about my mother, the original multitasker. She grew up in Queens, New York, in an immigrant family. She went to public high school and then to NYU, where her beauty did not go unnoticed. She went to grad school, got married, had 3 kids. When I was young, she wrote a cookbook. Then she wrote another one. Our freezer was always stocked with gourmet meals, like spinach Florentine or homemade pesto. Dinner parties were serious business. I remember her staying up till 3 a.m. fashioning dozens of little Russian meat pies called piroshki. Wait a minute. This is my mom. The one over here. My mother was one of the founders of Human Rights Watch. She traveled the world, interviewing persecuted people and talking with top officials. Along the way, she was tailed by secret police, bugged, detained, deported. She used to smuggle her interview notes out of the former Soviet Union by hiding them in a dental floss canister.
She was kind of legendary, I mean, she was is one of the paradigmatic human rights pioneers. So, she was wont to get on an airplane and go to Prague and, take a toothbrush in case she was arrested and so on. And all of that was a little bit like John Le Carre-ish, and it was a little scary. She didn't seem like a normal person. So it was a while before I realized how many dimensions there were to her.
My mother wrote about her investigations in scores of articles that appeared in places like the Washington Post and the New York Review of Books. Her memoirs came out in 2002. There are people in the world who insist that they owe their lives to my mother. Now, I wouldn't want to give the impression that my mother is two-dimensional, that when she isn't fighting evil dictators, she's whipping up a marigold custard. She has transformed 2 fixer-uppers into impeccable homes. She follows politics. She reads a ton. She has turned needlepoint into an art form. She is a devoted grandmother.
I think I have a very different relationship with Grammy than my friends do with their grandmothers. And I think it's because she's so with it. She just is so intellectually curious and always learning new things, and I feel like I can talk to her about anything that I'm interested in, and she has some knowledge of it and curiosity about it.
And she is a gardener, an insanely prolific gardener.
Oh, I'm looking at my own sad little plants here as I talk, and I think of her house plants. Peerless. Her houseplants are perfect. And in the summer when she moves them outside, they're just so beautiful. You sit there and you eat your lovely summer lunch and you gaze at these beautiful flowers. So colorful, so healthy, so well tended. It's a charmed life.
My life never seems so graceful, so well organized, so productive. What is her secret? My mother's friends tell me that she is highly disciplined and paces herself, that she doesn't waste energy blabbing about things she's planning to do, she just does them.
There's no mess, and there don't seem to be extra things in her life. She has a place for everything. Now, she must limit the things she lets in there because otherwise she'd be like everybody else.
Some people do have more ergs of energy in their brains than other people. I mean, it's not necessarily a matter of will. They just are more fully energized by the planet somehow. And I think she is certainly one of those.
My mother has one word for me: lists.
I've always kept lists. They're important to me. I like checking off the things I've done. That gives me a sense of satisfaction. Always have, my lists are always longer than I can possibly accomplish in the day that I'm supposed to do it, so I check off what I've done and carry over what I haven't done. I've always combined my lists in a way that I don't think a lot of professional people do. When I would go to work, I would have in the same book to call the Secretary of State and to pick up my laundry. They would all be kind of there.
Personally, I'm not convinced that lists are the secret. Lots of people make lists, few people follow through. Here's what I think is at the core, and it's something that I don't believe she fully appreciates about herself: creativity. She always wants to make something, change something, improve it. And as soon as she finishes, she's ready for the next challenge. With so many interests, she has to multitask. I know I'll never achieve what my mother has, but really, who could? I can only try to embrace life with the same tenacity, to give it my all.